I didn't get a job because I was a bully in high school. I've been trying to break into a niche industry 30-40 jobs in a city with a population of 3 million for a while now. I'm in my late 20s, and though it took me some time to decide what I wanted to do with my life, I have finished my degree and completed 2 internships. I'm working part-time in a related field and freelancing while searching for a full-time job in the niche industry. I'm willing to move for the right job, but I'd rather stay close to home, so I was stoked last summer when I got an interview for one of the very few entry-level jobs available in my city. I ultimately didn't get it, but the interview went well enough they encouraged me to apply the next time they had an opening. Then an acquaintance who works at the company called me up and asked if I wanted to get coffee. I figured she'd offer me tips on how to do better next time. Instead, she told me to give up on ever being hired there. Turns out, a girl I had gone to high school with is a real rock star at this company, and she threatened to resign when it looked like I was about to be offered a job. I hadn't realized it was her because her married name is different. I'll be honest, I wasn't a very nice person back then, and I probably was pretty awful to this girl. I looked my former classmate up, and her resume really is incredible. She graduated from college early and has awards people who've worked in our industry twice as long haven't won. Her public-facing work is top-notch. I'm guessing she's the kind of employee a manager wants to keep around. My acquaintance's prediction appears to be true. I didn't get an interview for a new position at the company that would have been an even better fit than the one I'd interviewed for. When I asked why, I was told a staffer had raised some concerns and the company would not be moving forward with my candidacy. I'm heartbroken. I worked so hard for so long to get the training required for this type of work, and I don't think I deserve to be blacklisted for something I said when I was 17. I have my former classmate's work email. Should I beg for forgiveness? Update. I know you didn't solicit an update, but I felt compelled to send one. I'd written you in the spring because I was having trouble breaking into a niche industry in which a high school classmate at bullied was a rock star. I wanted to know if you thought apologizing would help me get a job. At the advice of your readers, I did delete the draft of an apology email I'd had sitting in my inbox for some time. I applied for one more job with Rockstar's company, and when I didn't hear back, I decided it was really and truly time to look elsewhere. I found a shop in a town 7 hours away that was desperate to hire someone for a paid 9-month fellowship that started in June because the candidate they'd originally extended an offer to found a full-time, permanent position. I said goodbye to my boyfriend, packed up my car and 2 cats, and drove to a town I'd never been to. And I hated it, not the work, I actually loved the work, but the town sucked. Being away from my boyfriend, and my family sucked. Not being able to make friends sucked. Everyone else my age was married with 2 kids already. I called my boyfriend every night crying he was supposed to come visit me over Labor Day but canceled at the last minute because he had to work. Seeing how bummed I was, a co-worker offered to swap shifts with me so I could make the trip home for the long weekend. I hopped into my car after work on Friday and drove all evening, arriving at the place I'd been sharing with my boyfriend before I moved a little after 1 a.m. Well, you probably know where this was going. He was cheating on me. I was devastated. I spent the rest of the night sobbing on my sister's couch and drove back to where I was working the next morning, except I couldn't make myself get out of bed on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. I was fired after my 3rd no-call, no-show. I tried to get the part-time job I had before moving for the fellowship back. They'd said come back anytime, but they found someone who was faster and more efficient than I'd been. Unable to afford a place on my own, I had to move back in with my parents. Not sure what else to do, I sent another desperate application to Rockstar's shop in an effort to cheer me up. My sister and my friends took me out for a nice dinner for my birthday at the end of September. This is where it goes from bad to worse. I drank too much wine at dinner and got pretty weepy. I excused myself from the table to try to put myself together, and ran into Rockstar and her husband celebrating their anniversary. On the way to the bathroom, I ended up yelling, crying at her that she'd ruined my life. I was asked to leave and told I wasn't welcome back. That was Saturday night. I spent Sunday hungover in bed, Trying to figure out how to clean up the mess I made on Monday morning, Rockstar's manager, the one hiring for the job I'd applied for, emailed me to let me know I'd been removed from the candidate pool. She advised me that I would not be considered for future positions at their shop, or any other in the network that afternoon, without mentioning me or what happened at the restaurant over the weekend. Rockstar tweeted a long thread about how she'd been bullied in high school and she wishes teenagers would realize that high school ends and it does get better. She also tweeted out links to local mental health resources and the National Suicide Hotline that were retweeted many times. So, just to recap, no job, no boyfriend, no money, no hope of ever breaking into the industry I spent 5 years preparing to enter. It's hard not to feel like some of this is Rockstar's fault, especially given how she rubbed salt in the wound after my whole world had come crashing down. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1: I would love to know the full extent of how much she bullied this girl in high school. I'm sure it was more than something she said at 17. Redditor follow-up: I remember the last time this was posted and people went through her comments to find out. The girls were part of the same friend group and I think had a crush on the same guy. Oop got the guy and decided to destroy Rockstar socially for whatever reason. Turned all their friends against her, made sure to hold a graduation party the same day as Rockstar's so no one would show up. Also, Rockstar lived on the same street as her, so saw everyone go to Oop's party, not hers. Another Redditor answer: and that's just what the Oop was willing to share. I can imagine her actual behavior was worse if the Rockstar was tweeting out suicide prevention tips. Another Redditor follow-up: Oop decided to take Rockstar's boyfriend in high school and deliberately ruined her life. Rockstar got the best revenge living well, and to watch Oop create her own life without having to do anything herself. Such amazing karmic retribution. Redditor 2: I don't want to be judged and not get a job for something I said when I was 17. So I will scream at this bullied girl in public again and get a tweet or thread of everything I did to her the next day. For some reason, it all seems to be bullied girl's fault. Redditor answer: I bullied a guy in middle school and feel deeply ashamed of it. I wasn't the only one, but I partook in it because I was so desperate to fit in. I changed school because I hated who I had become in that environment. The point is, as soon as she said that she doesn't believe she should be ostracized for something she said when she was 17, and as soon as she asked whether apologizing would help her get the job, I knew that this girl had not changed and did not feel bad. Because if that guy that I had made fun of when I was 12 ever turns out to be the reason I don't get a job, I would understand. I would understand if he didn't want to work with me and risk being bullied again or be reminded of that every day. And if I ever were to apologize to him, it wouldn't be with the expectation to get something out of it. I think many people change as they grow up and become an adult. This girl has not. Redditor 3: Good God, what a pitiful person. Imagine being so unaware of yourself to blame the person you bullied in high school for your life falling apart. Redditor follow-up: Sounds like Oop learned no lessons and decided to kamikaze her career in the niche industry by publicly yelling at the woman she bullied in high school. And then decided to vent like he's the victim in her update. Redditor 4: I work in a small industry libraries and you better believe that everyone knows everyone. If you are a terrible person, you're gonna have to move far away to get another job. Redditor follow-up: I'm pretty interested in what industry Oop was trying to start into if the post isn't misleading or uninformed. I got a degree in something kinda specific and now I do a completely unrelated blue-collar job. Never once did a 3-day no-call no-show. I know librarians are different, I know one, but I feel like Oop got a degree in something outmoded and feels entitled to get paid without effort, commitment, flexibility, or social skills. Redditor 5: Imagine seeing someone you hurt sharing mental health resources and the National Suicide Hotline info and viewing it as rubbing salt in the wound. It's not a stretch to assume the person had to rely on such resources while being bullied by Oop given the context in which they were shared. Cognitive dissonance is a hell of a thing. Redditor follow-up: Even more so cause it's so obvious that she went looking for stalks this woman's Twitter account? Redditor 6, yipes. Move somewhere else and start over, oop. They need to take some responsibility for their own duck-ups here and move on. Their life sucks for sure and I feel bad for them, but they chose the bad option every turn, I feel like. Redditor follow-up, I agree. The initial situation sucks. I get why the rock star would say something, but I also do feel some empathy for Op in that one moment. But then she goes and makes numerous essity choices that she takes zero responsibility for. And then as the icing on the I have no self-awareness cake, she confronts the person who's done nothing wrong and makes herself even more the villain. Redditor 7, if Rockstar was bullied by her over a decade ago and still remembers it to the extent she refuses to work with her, I have a feeling it was extremely vicious bullying. Oh, and then she blames the girl she bullied for her life falling apart. This is the other side to one of those feel-good revenge stories where the bullied person gets back at the one who scorned them. Redditor follow-up, this is better than those revenge stories. At least for me, the justice of the revenge stories feels insanely hollow because often the hero ends up doing stuff way worse than the villain ever did. In this story, that rock star did nearly nothing. She had built such an amazing career and reputation that all she had to do was threaten resignation and everything absolutely worked out. She made an awesome life for herself despite her past, and that awesome life had her ducking back. Redditor 8, I remember reading the original way back. This woman is insufferable. Even after Rockstar tweeted about bullying and depression, she still couldn't accept any blame. I believe in the comments on AMA they were friends in school and Op and Rockstar liked the same guy. Op started dating him and thought it would be weird to be friends with Rockstar, so dropped her and got all the friend group to do the same and started bullying her, effectively ostracizing Rockstar for her final 2 years of school. Redditor follow-up, in one of the comments, the Op mentions that Rockstar was so miserable in HS, she briefly transferred to another school but came back to do a final extracurricular. The Op mentioned it like it was proof that the bullying could not have been so bad. It literally did not occur to her that this focused, high-achieving young woman had to grit her teeth and suffer the Op one final year so she could get to the college she wanted and launch into her great career. Discipline and endurance were clearly alien notions to the poster. I hope Rockstar's mom, who had to watch the Op be a essity teen to her suffering kid and still grit her teeth around the neighbors on their shared street, has heard through the neighbor grapevine what a disaster the Op is. And I hope she sits in her favorite chair in the living room and has a good laugh about it.